What's the business is? Yeah, it's dude now, man. We right back in the building, bringing you the latest in the news, hip-hop, sports, and entertainment. And we got a Kwame Brown site. Kwame Brown was on a Jason Whitlock show, and he talked about Diddy, Charlamagne the God, and he also talked about Steph Curry. Now, we love when we see Kwame Brown doing things of that nature, because we know Kwame Brown be on his show, on his channel, he be going at a lot of people. But we love to see him come outside the box and get on a real podcast and really speak his mind, because really deep down, Kwame Brown is a really smart guy. He really got a lot to say, and I really think that a lot of people be trying to dumb him down. But we got Kwame Brown speaking on a lot of topics today. This video might be a little long, so while y'all at it, I would love for you guys to take the time out right now and make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get to the video clips, and I'll give y'all my commentary in the end.
Program before, glad to have him back, because Kwame, I've been thinking about you ever since I read Stephen A's book, his memoir. And when I read it, some of the things you said 2 or 3 years ago really made sense to me, that were a tiny bit confusing when you said it 2 or 3 years ago. You made an accusation that David Stern and the NBA had basically installed Stephen A to pass off a certain message about you and the NBA. And when I heard that originally, I was like, that's interesting, but I don't fully follow it. And then I read his book, and then Cat Williams said what he said, and virtually everything you said now makes perfect sense to me. These guys get installed. I think you've been completely vindicated. When I read Stephen A's book, I'm like, this guy has no qualifications to be talking sports. He's lied about himself. He's a pathological liar. Mm-hmm. Anyway, do you feel that vindication now that people have a better understanding of Stephen A. Smith, and now that people have heard from Cat Williams?
Let me show you where I'm at, Jason, and show the crowd. I'm over here chilling, living my best life. Ever since Cat Williams came out and said what he said, I felt vindicated, because most times sometimes it be the right message, wrong messenger. And a lot of times I think the way I said it, people thought that, oh, he's just angry, he's just bitter. And now that I got it out in that manner, because I've been disrespected for so long, there's no need to get it out in that manner. I've made my point about our culture, the music industry, that you shouldn't care about an NBA player cursing if you're going to send Gorilla and Cardi B and all these women to the White House once they talk about their WAP and their booty hole brown and those things that they're using. They use our celebrities to push a narrative. And Stephen A. Smith, I come from the old school. If I can't read, I can't diss somebody who can read.
I want to move on to a second level where you've been proven right. Charlamagne the fraud, or Charlamagne the installed, as I like to call him. I think this Diddy thing is very messy for Charlamagne. Let's think it through. And I've already explained this at the top of the show, but so Diddy, sex trafficking, hosting parties where young girls are allegedly being exploited. So in 2001, Charlamagne, a 15-year-old girl, accused him of hosting or being involved in a party. She claims she was drugged, taken upstairs by 2 men, and that Charlamagne was a part of this. Charlamagne pleads out and gets, I think, 2 years probation. There's no DNA, can't prove he raped anybody. But doesn't that behavior sound very similar to the things P. Diddy's being accused of? And guess who Revolt TV and Diddy throw their money and weight behind? A Charlamagne the fraud, a guy with a compromised background. And so the question I was asking at the top of the show, we've heard 50 Cent say Diddy likes to take men shopping. Do you think Charlamagne told Diddy no when he said, let's go shopping? Do you think Charlamagne said no when he was throwing those parties? You think Charlamagne was like, hey man, this is crazy. What are y'all doing with these underage girls at these parties? Or do you think Charlamagne was go along, get along, and fit the profile?
I think Charlamagne 100%, in my opinion, go along to get along. They need guys like that. And what they do is, once they know that you're that type of guy, you would think they would kick you out. No, they empower you and put you over a sector of black dudes. If you follow Charlamagne the God, Charlamagne has been empowered to help other black content creators all around YouTube space and all over. I would name a few shows that he's connected to. You know, one is All the Smoke. Two is the 85 South show, allegedly. But there's several shows. If you take a deep dive, Charlamagne is the reason why they exist. So what that does is they're going to look the other way. I said this 3 years ago. I said there's some people in this world that they put in place. They're like guys walking on earth. They help so much. They look philanthropic. They look like they just do no wrong, but they just do that so you can look the other way from what they're really doing. And this is a cold game in the world. Mostly what's really going on is that when you speak truth like I speak, I worry about my daughters. I worry about the women that's around me, because the world that I understand, the men try to conquer you through women. So they'll tinker with your daughters, your baby mamas. Like, I don't care nothing about my baby mama. They're grown, but they'll try to get into your family in any kind of way that they can to get you to shut up. And I don't think people really understand how much they're vulnerable and the people around them are when you speak the truth. But if they do some research on what podcast that Charlamagne directly involved with helping, and then you can see the reason why he can do what he does in the black community and no one says anything.
Well, you may have to text me that name so I can fill in the gap when you're off air, because I want to know. Obviously, I know he's involved with All the Smoke. That's what pops into my head immediately.
Two
but I'm
guys
sure there's
2 guys that run around the black community. One acts like he's an activist, but he'll direct black men to attack you if you offend him or upset him. He will never do that to a white man. Another black man that will spit in another black man's face and always try to assault a black man, even though now we've seen that he'll go and try to assault a teenager. But you would think Charlamagne would speak up against those guys. To remember, when we went back and forth, the first thing he said is, I may have snapped. So it's looking like it's the other way around.
Yeah, obviously, I've never liked Charlamagne. I don't think he has any qualifications for the position he's been put in. He's been put in that position because he's compromised and easy to control. We played the clip earlier, but I want to replay it again. Tell me if we have the clip of Diddy and Charlamagne talking about Donald Trump. Let's play that clip.
If this man is elected, we're not standing by no more getting killed. We're not scared of anybody standing up and standing by. We're on the verge of a race war. White men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking, it's real dangerous. When you look at it, we don't have no choice. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want about Biden. I can't say I love the pick either, but hey, we got to get him in office, and then we got to hold him accountable.
So we saw Charlamagne, we saw Joe Biden come on Charlamagne's show and say, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. Charlamagne said nothing. This isn't a defense of Trump. This is a defense of like, hey, there's a set of people trying to control what we do, take away our freedom to make choices any direction they want to go. Asian people, Latino people, white people, Irish people, Italian people, Jewish people, they can vote for whoever they want to. But us, we have to vote a certain way and we have to go along. And there's allegations again. With Diddy, we know the allegations. With Joe Biden, we know the allegations. He sure likes to sniff kids. His daughter has said he took showers with her when she was a child. And here's Charlamagne, the third leg of that. He, in 2001, 15-year-old girl, allegations, he's arrested. He pleads down to some lesser charges. The whole thing just looks like a sex cult, a pedophile sex cult. And if you're not involved in that, you can't be empowered.
I mean, that's what it seems like to me. Carcino for life. Shout out to Carcino. He talked about who all controls the music industry. And I will have to say on that part, Kanye was right. Everybody from who's anything in music is white. And then Carcino added another part to it. They're white and a part of the LGBT community. So is that the reason why they have most of the women so hypersexual? Because that's not going to lead to relationships. And they have most of the men extra effeminate because it's confusing. I didn't grow up with men that wore purses. If you are a man, you didn't do that. If you identified as something else, you did that, but not saying that you're a heterosexual man and still doing things that women do. So that's where all the confusion come from. I was wondering, why is our music, we had one or two artists that did what they did, but now all of our music is trash. I can't sit in the car with my daughters and listen to the radio because they're humming the words, and I know they understand what the real words are. Just because you blurt out one little part, they know what the real words are. And it's just making these kids hypersexual. I don't get it.
Last part of this, on just a different level, and this is where I started the show today, is I like Steph Curry. I like Dale Curry. I hope I can say this without being inappropriate, but I really like Steph Curry's mother. And so I like his whole story. But to see him being used to justify this Good Times cartoon, that you're not old enough to remember the show Good Times, maybe watched it in reruns, but it was a big part of my childhood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great show about black family struggling in the hood. It was an uplifting, powerful show. And to see it distorted into this cartoon that celebrates all this negativity and puts at the forefront, and then they use a basketball player as the executive producer, along with Norman Lear, who's now passed, but his production company, and Seth MacFarlane. And it just looks like Steph is being used to justify how white people want to portray black people. And again, this is where I'm like, they're installing Steph, a basketball player, into a lane television production that I just don't see other white athletes executive producing TV shows about white culture or any culture, but they keep doing it with our basketball players or our prominent athletes. This is another way the system installs, because if someone with some chops or some experience in the television lane, or someone like Bill Cosby, and I know that he's a curse word now, but just look at how he put the Cosby Show together to be a positive force. It did all those great TV ratings. And if they put someone like that in charge, they can't produce what they just got Steph Curry to sign off on. Basketball players are blessed now, making so much money. I just wonder, what do you think about them dabbling in all of these media and television and movie projects, and the way they're being used, in my opinion?
Well, we're in trouble because, like you said, our vote is just they made it like our vote is like a black agenda for the Democrats. I said it 3 years ago that a celebrity is just a distraction. It's just so that they can handle the optics of the things that they're going to say. That's why they had a Steven Jackson always talking about a Kwame Brown 7 years, 8 years, 10 years after he's removed from the game because it gets views, it gets hits. So Stephen Curry, he brings a large a young following. He's very popular. They're going to overlook the imagery of what's really going on because of Steph. They're going to laugh. They're going to say it's just a joke. We're just trolling. One of the worst words that they created was trolling, because now a young man or a young woman don't have to stand on their actions or their behavior. They were just in character. They were just trolling. So you can never, okay, so when does trolling stop and when are you serious about what you're saying? And Steph Curry, just like you said, I was young and watching. I'm older than Steph Curry, but even I watched the reruns of Good Time. So, but I understand it more. I come from that type of era. Steph Curry, no offense. I mean, he grew up with a father in the NBA. He grew up affluent. He's not going to see the serious nature of what it's really saying. Steph Curry he's not going to fit the description. Everybody knows Steph Curry. And he's fair skinned, so he's going to get a different treatment than me at 7 foot. And for the first time, somebody is seeing the image. I come from that image, and not all of us are like that. So it's a little bit offensive. Like, I didn't control the area code and the zip code they dropped me off in. The state controlled that. So there's a lot of kids like myself that, despite if it's your family or your cousins, whoever, you're just surviving your environment because you were placed in this environment. And so to paint everybody with that type of brush, to me, is offensive. But what do? You just keep winning. You know, that's my thing. I'm not arguing with him. I hope, and I don't want to offend Steph Curry, but I hope he take a deeper look at, like you said, how much money is important to you. You make enough money. I think he got enough money that he could ever need.
Now, one thing I can say for sure, guys. Now, listen. Cat Williams was absolutely right. I don't know what it is, but Cat Williams said it. He said 2024 will be the year that everybody will be exposed. And that's exactly what is happening. I mean, all of Diddy, old laundry, is coming out. I mean, we watching the empire just crumble right up under Diddy's feet. And one thing about Jason Whitlock, whether y'all like him or not, Jason Whitlock likes to talk on topics that a lot of people be scared to talk about. Now, Jason Whitlock he be reaching sometimes on certain topics, but I also listen to him because sometimes he be spot on. And I love the way Kwame Brown stood up today. A lot of people like to say that Kwame Brown is scary. Kwame Brown don't like to step outside the box. But Kwame Brown pick and choose which platforms he like to go on. That's what I like about Kwame. He just ain't gonna go all willy-nilly and jump on everybody's podcast, but he pick and choose the right ones to speak his mind. And I absolutely salute Kwame Brown for that today, for standing up, speaking his mind, and being transparent on all the topics that Jason Whitlock threw at him. But y'all let me know in the comment box below what y'all think about Kwame Brown and Jason Whitlock. And if this is your first time to the channel, come on, y'all, quit playing. Y'all be playing, man. Quit playing. You see that little old button over there. Make sure y'all smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. This dude, I'm in the building. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Yeah.